Transforming doubt into leadership strength, how to overcome doubt for lasting success. Doubt's something that all of us, there isn't any one of us who's never ever experienced doubt. So when you look at doubt, there's two angles to it. The first one is a fear that is holding us back from doing something that we know we need to do or we want to do, but there's something that's saying, no, don't do it. Then the second part, when we know something isn't right and we don't want to, but we're still considering it due to pressures, outside pressure from either others or society or whatever. I know that certainly I have suffered from the fear of not being good enough. And although it didn't stop me from doing things, what it did do is give me an illness called depression, where I kept thinking I wasn't good enough, regardless of how many awards I was winning, what was actually happening, people telling me how good. It didn't matter what they said. In my head, that little voice, that inner critic was saying, you're just not good enough. So that fear was holding my body back, and the dis-ease that was in my body had to eventually come to fore. So the fears that we hold can hold us back big time in various ways, both mentally and physically. The second one, the pressure, I've not really had too many instances in my life where people or society or everything pressurised me. I mean, for example, I've been with the same man for 35 years this year, and we're not married. So societal pressures haven't bothered us because we have a wonderful, loving partnership. And it didn't, for us, we didn't need a bit of paper to prove that, or a fancy wedding or anything like that. That wasn't what we were looking for. So I haven't really had too many, but I do remember an instance way back when I was a lot younger where a guy I was seeing, I had got wind of the fact that he was going to propose and he had bought the ring already. And at that point, I felt pressure of saying no, which I felt was right for me, but that the person would lose face on me doing that, and I didn't know when they were going to do it, and I didn't know whether they were going to do it in front of people, and it sounded like that was going to be the case. So I had that doubt and the societal pressure, or the people pressures really, of saying yes to save face. I look at it now, and to be honest with you, there was another way I could have dealt with that, which was to say to the person, listen, I've overheard this. If this is what you're planning, don't do it. And here's the reason why. I think I was too young to process that and face it. But what I know now, that would have been far more helpful and helped both of us. They put themselves in that position. I get that now. That was the position they put themselves. I'm not there to rescue and help, people out of situations they've landed themselves in. I'm there to help people help themselves out of those situations. So the good thing about that little critic that was inside my head that caused me the disease was when I got better, I then started thinking about what can I do to stop that from happening again. And I came up with silencing your inner critic, and I came up with the 4 hours release model, and that I then made into a webinar. It's a free webinar, and I'll stick the link at the bottom, where you can learn the 4 hours release model to silence that inner critic. So good came from the not so good, but doubt was definitely a big part of all of those examples that I've given you from me. So today I wanted to look at 3 things. I want to look at doubt as a natural part of growth and self-reflection. I want to look at doubt. Can it be both limiting and empowering? There's a thought. And I also want to look at overcoming doubt requires courage and action. It's not passive. Although a lot of us do think just because we keep ourselves in that way, in that in that mode that it is a passive, but it isn't. We need to take action. So let's start with the first, which is doubt as a natural part of our own personal growth and our self-reflection. And I'd say also our self-awareness, because through self-reflection comes self-awareness. Toni Morrison, the American novelist and editor, said, "When you fly, you gotta give up the things that weigh you down." That thing might be doubt. And I think most definitely doubt comes into weighing us down on so many times and so many occasions with so many things. So we need to give up the doubt to fly. Doubt often arises when we're faced with uncertainty, when we're stepping outside our comfort zone. And I often talk about stepping outside our comfort zone to clients. You've got a big circle and you are in the middle of that circle and you are in your comfort zone. And in that comfort zone, it feels really good because you know it, you understand it. You've got a sense of, I get this, it's okay, I know how to deal with the things that are in here. However, what we don't realise is that the magic happens all outside that circle. The magic doesn't happen inside the circle, it happens outside the circle. So when it comes to doubt, it's the natural response we have to challenge or change. And if we can understand that it's the magic, that is surrounding us outside that circle of comfort zone, and we can understand that it signals opportunity for growth, for understanding. It allows us to reflect, to question the assumptions that we've maybe made and explore new possibilities. So doubt can be amazing and powerful, which brings me on to the second point, which is, can doubt be both limiting and empowering? Well, you can see by what I said on that first one, we can use it as empowering, but it depends on the way we want to view it. Often we view doubt as limiting, we view it as a negative thing, but doubt is just a word, and words have that polarity that we also have, which is, that positive and that negative aspect of it. But limiting it is, because while excessive self-doubt, doubt of all sorts, can hinder our progress, and that does it by paralysing the decision making and creating fear, like a wee fearmonger in us. It's also critical. It plays a critical role in fostering our thinking and self-awareness. When we harness that empowerment of doubt rather than seeing it as a negative, when we harness that effectively, doubt can encourage us to seek deeper truths about possible beliefs that we've had. It challenges that complacency, that circle that we have built around us of that comfort. It can challenge that complacency, and it can strengthen our beliefs by testing the beliefs. And if we're open to the testing of those beliefs to see, well, maybe actually my beliefs aren't there. I mean, I had beliefs when I was younger that I don't have anymore because doubt has crept in. Something was said, I've read something, I've seen something and thought, whoa, well, maybe I have to see this from another angle. Bertrand Russell, the British mathematician and philosopher, said, "The whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves," and their beliefs, I would say, "and wiser people are full of doubts." Oh, so true. As a young person, I was the fool and the fanatic who believed whatever I believed was right and whatever you believed was wrong. And that was just an ego managing me, that ego mastering me. As I've become older, and I would hope a bit wiser, I've realised that, yeah, I have lots of doubts, because I'll believe something and then something else will come in to make me go, But the doubts I see are for me to explore, to go into depth with, to see if what I've believed all the way along is right, or whether it's just partially right and there's something else, or it's not right at all and it's here. And that may morph and change for me, because as an older and wiser person, I now get that I actually know very little that this world has, and I am a lifelong learner, and that it will be full of doubts, but it's not something to fear anymore. And when I was younger, very much, if we come back to the ladder of leadership, that middle ground of you as the person, that column of you, that centre column without your limbs, is your leading me. That's where I master ego. But I can also, and when I was younger, be foolish enough to think I knew it all. I was in complete control and judgment of what was there and what I understood and what I knew was right. And that was my ego. But then what caused my I'm not good enough was when I had to move into that belittling part. So I had to belittle myself. I'm not good enough regardless of what I was seeing round about me. Well, that wasn't a great belief system to have, but I did believe it at the time. So for me, as I got older, and as I am getting older, I understand now that actually having doubts is really good. All I have to do is explore those doubts. If you're enjoying what we're talking about here, and we talk about all sorts of things, then please, do us a favour and, like, subscribe, support us. It really does help the channels, and we really, really appreciate what you do for us. Also, if you want to contact and ask us anything or do anything, then you can also contact us on magsbell.com blog/blog, and you'll see many things there, and you may enjoy whatever comes your way. And if that's what you enjoy, then please like and support. But this, as we get older, we actually understand how doubts can help us, brings me on to the last point of overcoming doubt requires courage and action. So doubt in itself really is neither negative or positive. It just is. And the acquiring of courage helps us with the action. Charles Bukowski, the German-American poet, novelist and short story writer, said, "Doubt is only removed by action. If you're not working, then that's where doubt comes in." And I would say it in a different way, in that if you're not focusing and finding the courage, then doubt will come in and work away. But finding that focus of where's the doubt coming from and what's making me do it, so let me go down the rabbit hole and find out a lot more about this. Instead of the what happens in the Leading Me ladder of leadership is I jump to control. No, I'm right. I know I'm right. I know that this, and I'll fight for everything. Instead of that, open it up. Doubt doesn't disappear on its own. It requires active engagement. That's what, Borowski was saying. You need to actually engage. By taking small decisive actions and focus, we can build confidence where the courage comes from and reduce the power that doubt holds over us. Understanding doubt helps us recognise it's only a temporary barrier and that we can overcome that through persistence, courage, and trust in their own ability. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, the American writer and Jurgen psychoanalyst, said, "Do not lose heart. We were made for these times. Doubt is a small voice of fear that tells us we cannot go forward." And as I said, if you have that small fear, that doubt, whatever it may be for you, that small voice, then I will put the link for silencing your inner critic below. I'll also put a link below to a previous LeadingME Wee Gems that I done on values, because that's our inner GPS that helps us move forward, that helps us check in, right, with, is this the right thing for me? That knowing of self, the LeadingME knowing of self, allows you to remove doubt. And I will put a link to, I think it was called something like insecurity to influence, something like that. So I'll put that link below for you too. So transforming doubt into leadership strength and how to overcome doubt for lasting success, you can see we can. Doubt is a natural part of growth and self-reflection, right? It can be both limiting and empowering. And doubt requires you to overcome any doubt you have with courage and with action. So remember, doubt, when acknowledged and managed by you, managing your ego, becomes a tool for personal development and clearer decision making for you. View doubt as a positive tool and take focused action, and doubt will become a great tool to move you forward in the right direction instead of you thinking it's holding you back. You can move forward every time using it as a positive tool. For now, from me, stay true, stay you, keep bringing out your brilliance, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.